There are many companies out there that offer adventures here to the Faroe Islands. So why come with me? What makes me different? Well, the truth is I've been coming here since 2012 and I've been very lucky to explore so much of this landscape in multiple seasons. So I know when the Faroes is at its worst and what it's like when it's at its best. Because of this, I've gotten to know where to go to photograph the landscapes. So if we have a lot of rain in the north, I know the locations that you want to go in the south. I have many connections here in the Faroes as well, so I've gotten to know so many people. And this is what makes me stand out from other companies that offer the workshops, is the time that I spent here. I'm not someone who's just arrived here once and offered a workshop. I've been coming here for 7+ years, and I've really got to know the landscape. So the itinerary on the website is just a guide. There are so many locations here in the Faroes, it's almost impossible to fit them all into 1 week. But what will happen is we'll go to the regular spots that you see lots of photographs on, so you can get those hero shots of those locations. But we'll also be visiting many locations that are not on the list and ones that you don't often see on the internet. The itinerary will change because it's all very weather dependent. If we are having strong winds and rain coming from the northeast, then it's likely we'll go down to the southeast to take pictures, and we will bounce around the weather. So the locations will be determined really on the day, but the day before or the night before I'll have a rough idea of where we're going to be going. The accommodation that we sleep in is a beautiful 3-bedroom apartment that we have, which is in the centre of the Faroe Islands. I've been booking this for the last 3 years, and it is everything that we need. It's a beautiful kitchen, a living room, and there's 3 bedrooms, and there's also around about 6 to 7 beds. But as there'll only be 4 of us, 5 including myself, there's plenty of room for everybody. So we're going to be in the outdoors a lot, and we need to keep our energy levels up. So food will be provided when you're here. When you arrive, I'll have a selection of breads and meats and spreads so you can make sandwiches. I'll also provide you with your meals, so you'll have your breakfast, your lunch and your dinner. I'll also provide you with thermos flasks so you can take tea and coffee or hot drinks with you, and also a packed lunchbox so you can store some food with you and pop it into your bag and come. Any other things like your snacks or juices that you want, I'll happily take you to supermarkets and you can stock up for the workshop. My group sizes are 4 maximum. And the reason for that is tourism right now is increasing in the Faroe Islands, and there's many workshops out there and they're bringing 6, 10, 15 people, and this has a big impact on the landscape. Now this place is very delicate. The property around here is all private. You have to have permission to go to many of the places, and with large groups that becomes difficult and also very expensive. So for me, having 4 people, I'm able to say to a lot of the local farmers and a lot of the guides, I'm only coming with 4 people plus myself, and I'm happy to look after these people, and they're allowing me to go out into these locations without having to have a guide, which then also helps reduce the cost of the workshop. Well, first of all, I personally recommend taking 2 bodies. I've been here long enough and I know what the weather's like that I've damaged bodies before, and I'm lucky to have a second body. If you don't have a second body, don't worry about it. We'll just take a little bit extra care with your camera. Lenses. Wide angle lenses. Now every photographer is different and every photographer wants to photograph different. So some people love the super wide angle lenses, some people love a zoom lens. It's entirely up to you. What I do say though is take all your equipment with you and have it with you. We'll have a car that's big enough to store all the equipment. So when we come to a location, you can then decide which lenses that you want to use. I highly recommend rain covers for your camera because the weather here can change in an instant and you do not want your cameras getting very wet. It's also worth taking a tripod. Tripod is very, very important to take. A good, durable tripod, and one that's going to be very good with the weather conditions here as well. Filters, if you love filters, take your filters, take them all. I'm a big lover of filters, but I also know a lot of them, people prefer to do them in post-processing as well. That is no problem at all. Just take the equipment that you would normally take with you when you go out to shoot landscapes. Now there'll be times when we are coming to locations that are right beside the road or within a 5-minute walk. There'll also be some times when we're going to be walking for 2 or 3 hours out to a location. So the first thing I recommend is starting from the bottom, good waterproof boots with a good grip on them. Also look at taking thermal socks, warm socks, and multiple pairs, because there'll be times when they might get wet and you want to change them over. Also look at your clothing, your trousers. So I have thermal trousers on, and I have a good pair of hiking trousers that are thermal as well and slightly water resistant, but definitely take overshell waterproof trousers, because like I say here, it rains a lot and you want to be warm, you want to be dry. Thermal top, highly recommend that as well. Jumpers, thermal fleeces, down jacket, and also a good waterproof jacket. Hats and multiple pairs of gloves. Definitely recommend the gloves, because here it can be very cold very quickly. And do take multiple pairs of things like your hats, your gloves, so if they do get wet, the next day you have something dry while your other ones are drying as well. Also, I recommend walking poles, a good pair of walking poles. Quite often when we go for our long walks, you're going to be having a heavy bag on you, and the ground here can often be very muddy, especially if it's a path where there've been a lot of tourists and they've done a lot of damage to the path. Having that walking poles is just a good bit of support on you when you're walking, and also really good for the back as well. A lot of people ask me about cell phone cards or mobile cards. So if you're coming here to the Faroes, let me know and I can pick one up for you. So when you do arrive, there'll be a cell phone number for you, and the whole of the Faroes has 4G. And at the moment, they're about to be rolling out 5G as well. Fantastic internet speed here. It's incredible. There'll be moments when there'll be a lot of walking. So it will be a little bit physical, especially if you have your rucksack on and heavy gear. So I do recommend to be in the best shape that you can possibly be in. There will be walking, have a good rucksack that has good support so you're not going to be damaging your back. The most we will walk in one go is 2.5 hours out to location and 2.5 hours back. But that location really does depend on the weather. So do be prepared to walk out that distance. It rains here. I'm not gonna lie to you, they get a lot of rain here. And I've been very lucky that I've had adventures where we've had beautiful sunshine and we've had a week of lots and lots of rain. The truth is, there's always pockets and gaps when the rain comes in. And like I said before, we'll find these locations where there's going to be the least amount of rain and the least amount of wind. And the truth is, you can get the most dramatic shots when it's chucking down with rain and the clouds are rolling in and out and you have these sunspots coming down, or you just have those dramatic photographs of the rain all coming down. So the thing is, even in bad weather, we can still get fantastic shots. The people in the Faroe Islands, as standard, speak 2 languages. They have their native language, which is Faroese, and they speak Danish. But a majority of the people also speak English, so don't worry about, people not speaking English here, because most people do speak English. The Aurora is very elusive. You never know whether it's going to come or not. We are in a good spot just sitting below Iceland that you do get the Aurora here. It depends on the time of year that you're going to come, and it also depends on the cloud. There's a lot of cloud here that does block it, but I have been lucky that I've had almost a whole month of the Aurora and the northern lights dancing above me, but I've also been here for weeks on end where we've had constant cloud. So it's really just a gamble. You never know where they get the Aurora, but I will keep an eye on that, and if it does come, I will also keep an eye on the weather to look at spots where it's going to be clear skies, and if that happens, we will most certainly head out for it. The question I get asked often is why my price is lower than a lot of other companies that offer workshops and adventures here. For the last couple of years, I've been building up great connections with people that we rent from and the car companies. And I've worked deals with these people so I can get a slightly lower price than most other people. And I'm able to pass on that savings on to the people who come here. The way that I price it and I work it is I look at the cost for you to hire your hotel, for the price to hire a car, and the food that you have to buy. And that's how I come to my price. And the thing is, you then don't get to come just by yourself, you get to come with photographers who share a like-minded passion.